Welcome back. I'm your host, Susanna May. Oh, hey, and today we are going to talk about Stitch, the movie. Stitch the Movie is a 2003 American direct-to-video animation scientific comedy film by Walt Disney Television Animation. The plot. Stitch has been trying to adapt to life with Lilo in Hawaii, but has a hard time fitting in without causing more disaster. Lilo tries to encourage him by saying he is one of a kind, which just makes him feel worse, as he desires others who he could consider his cousins. Meanwhile, ex-Captain Gantu is hired by Dr. Jumbo's former partner, the diminutive and rodent-like Dr. Veal, not Wheel, to retrieve his other experiment. Gantu goes to Earth and abducts Jumbo, finding and taking and dehydrating pod containing experiment 625. Stitch and Lilo take Jumbo's spaceship and engage Gantu in battle, only to be defeated and fall back to Earth. Back at their house, Lilo, Stitch, and Pleakley find the container Jumbo was hiding. Pleakley realizes that it contains the other experiments, also in pods, and warns them not to tell anyone or reactivate the experiments. Aware of how dangerous they are, deliberately disobeying his orders, Stitch and Lilo retrieve the container and reactivate the electric-based experiment 221, who promptly escapes into the night. Jumbo is being held captive by Hamster Veal, who requests that the experiments be turned over to him, believing it's where they belong. Unable to intimidate Jumbo, Hamster Veal activates experiment 625 to assault him. However, despite 625 having all of Stitch's abilities, along with increased intelligence allowing him to speak proper English, he is incredibly lazy and cowardly, prioritizing making sandwiches above all else. Meanwhile, Pleakley is about to make contact with Hamster Veal's ship via telephone, who proceeds to determine a ransom of the experiments in return for Jumbo. Nani calls Cobra Bubbles to seek his assistance while Lilo and Stitch go out to find 221. They manage to track down 221 at a nearby hotel and successfully catch him with a glass vase. Stitch soon befriends him, realizing he has finally found a cousin of his own. The Reservoir's time arrives and Pleakley and Cobra show up to trade the container for Jumbo, but Hamster Veal is annoyed to find one is missing. Lilo and Stitch soon arrive with 221, announce she has named it Sparky, and declares that it and all the experiments are part of their ohana. They reveal Sparks and break Jumbo from his bonds, just as Cobra signals the Grand Councilorman's ship to raise out of the nearby ocean to blast Hamster Veal. Lilo protests since he still has the other experiments. So Sparky uses his electric ability to disrupt the power on the ship, allowing Hamster Veal and Gantu to escape on their ship with the experiments as Lilo, Stitch, and Sparky stow away. Inside the ship, Lilo and Stitch manage to seize the container, and in the ensuing struggle, it ends up releasing the dehydrated pods, which rains down and scatters all through Hawaii. Having captured the duo, Hamster Veal reveals his plan to clone Stitch 1,000 times over, as he is strapped to a weight he cannot lift, while Gantu pulls Lilo in a teleportation pod to send her to an intergalactic zoo before Stitch's vicisected by a laser. cut in half by a laser. For the cloning process, Sparky sabotages the machine, releasing him as the duo are strapped hands revealed to the device before they rescue Lilo. Lilo, Stitch, and Sparky then sabotage Gantu's ship, causing it to crash near a waterfall on Hawaii, landing Hamsterville's ship back at the point. They give Sparky a new home at the lighthouse, where he can resume its operation. Then they pursue the Grand Councilwoman to let them rehabilitate the other experiments. The Councilwoman has Hamsterville approach and grant Lilo and Stitch the task of tracking down the other experiments. At that moment, several experiments are activated by various means, and Lilo and Stitch drive off in Jumbo's dune buggy, putting the events of the series into motion. After the credit, Jumbo and Pleakley hope to go home with the Grand Councilwoman this time, but they are left stranded on Earth once again. Let's see if we can find anything on Rotten Tomatoes. Stitch the movie, Rotten Tomatoes. Okay, we got 20 in tomato meter and 50 in popcorn meter. It's been several years since Stitch, the result of Dr. Jumbo's Experiment 626, landed on Earth and befriended a girl, Lilo. Now Stitch, Lilo, and the Doctor live in Hawaii with Lilo's sister, Nani. But their lives are turned upside down when the arrival of Captain Gantu, who kidnaps Jumbo to find out the location of his other 625 experiments. It's up to Lilo and Stitch to save Jumbo. Let's see what the reviews are. So, Stitch the movie is rated G, 1 hour and 4 minutes, kids, family, comedy, animation. The movie slowly towards kids' approach is evident in value of its. Disney had to call it something, and pilot episode for an upcoming TV series that we're shamelessly going to make you pay for separately is a lot of words for a DVD spine. Less substantial than the original, but still quality family entertainment that lasts a year ahead of most of its competition for eyes and hearts of pint-sized viewers. The film's bravery is due to significance and character, not plot, and that's a shame since it wasn't exactly the chaos of Lilo and Stitch narrative that made it so ultimately charming. It is missing a great deal of original movie's heart. This one's more sitcom, less endearing, and a little bland. I'm not reading 1,000 of these. We'll just read parts of this, because this is way too long. I find this film was a much better sequel than Lilo and Stitch 2, Stitch Has a Glitch. It had a strong story about Stitch struggling to fit in and wanting to belong with others like him, similar to Tarzan. Funny, 1 hour and 4 minutes, not too short of a movie. Double and subtitles in worldwide animation. Those critics don't know what they're talking about. This is an awesome movie. I wouldn't call this a movie since this is like an extended 1 hour pilot of Lilo and Stitch, the series, but I did enjoy it. I have a bit or a soft spot for this, but it isn't good, very short and set up. This is yet another example when critics give an overall pretty good film a terrible review. The film feels slightly better than Lilo and Stitch 2, Stitch Has a Glitch, as a sequel, due to its storytelling being more similar to the first film. One of the most notable direct-to-DVD sequels that you might have seen back in the 2000s, as I had grown up with them, like every kid who grew up with Disney movies. Better than the first movie, I love the addition of more characters and the focus on the experiments. Uh, Stitch the movie is decent, but definitely not on the same level as the original. While Stitch remains the K